Hope you're doing good. Micah back with another video. Back here to talk about my Samsung Galaxy Z Fold6 setup and the full breakdown of that. Now, what I mean by full is how I have from the AOD or always on display to the lock screen to the home screen and pages to the widgets to even how I use Good Lock to have this phone set up. Now, I'm not going to get into other granular settings. Maybe that would be for another video because this video would be entirely too long. But essentially, that's what I'm going to be breaking down and even give you a glimpse or a preview into how I have my keyboard set up via Good Lock as well. That really helps complete this setup for my Galaxy Z Fold 6. Now, this setup can essentially still be used with any other Samsung Galaxy device. It's just that I have multiple screens that I could customize with this as opposed to just one full slab. So if you guys are ready, if you guys haven't already, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so all free. That way you never miss my videos. So you and I can sit back, check, see who's cracking. And now let's get into the video. And as you guys can see, this is my AOD. Be the game changer. Nothing like seeing constant motivation on your always on display to keep you motivated, to keep going strong, to keep pushing, keep grinding, to overcome any obstacles. And so I like that simple reminder right there on my always on display. And as you see, I still have widgets on my always on display that essentially is from the lock screen, which is actually fire. And that is my battery widget, my doggone calendar widget, and my Samsung Health widget. Still have the time up there and the battery down below, which is 100%. Just actually hopped out of the car because of wired CarPlay. My phone basically stays charged up. Now, how do you actually set up the always on display? Well, let's go ahead and enter the phone, and then we're gonna go ahead and swipe on over to settings, and then we're gonna scroll down here to, well, we could do themes, right? Themes is a great place to start, probably so. So let's actually start with themes. So if we go into themes, this is where you're going to actually find the AOD wallpaper, so to speak. Now for me, you can actually click on AODs here to actually find your own. And Samsung's store, theme store, has plenty to choose from. You have your top list as opposed to the featured. You can scroll through here. Some are free, as you guys can see there. Some are paid. You know, a lot of the animated ones are probably going to be paid. So keep that in mind. But I don't know why it exited me out there. So if we're going to come over here to menu, we're going to come to My Stuff. Once I click on My Stuff, I'm going to scroll over to AOD. Now, you see I have many or a few different ones, but the one I'm using is Be the Game Changer. So all you would have to do is actually, if we back out, just look up Be the Game Changer. So hit the search button up at the top and then type in Be the Game Changer. There it is. And even said there's a live version too. Now, I didn't know there was a live version. Ooh, hold on, what the animated one look like? So if I actually watch the animated one, and it will actually give you, ooh, I like that. But it's not. I also like the one that I'm using now. Now, if that's how it could be regularly, then I would do that. But you see, it's 99 cents for the live version. Now, the one I have is the free version. And if you click on it, you can have it just only display Be the Game Changer, or you can also have your additional information, which would also include notifications. And that's what I have here. So that is how you set up your AOD, at least from the themes perspective. Now, to set up AOD in general, you want to click on lock screen and AOD. And then once you are in this menu, you click on always on display. You want to make sure it's toggled on. And this is where you can actually customize your always on display to your liking. You can show lock screen wallpaper on your AOD, meaning it will be faded, you know, basically similar to how Apple does theirs. And I also actually really like that because it looks really clean. So if I actually do that, it will also remove. See, remove your downloaded AOD. To show lock screen wallpaper on the always on display, you need to remove your downloaded AOD. Your purchase is saved and you can add your AOD again at no cost from the theme store. So if I was to remove that, now I lose my motivation. But I do now have my actual if it will show up here, but my wallpaper is not showing up. Oh, and that's because I have to actually turn it on. So interesting enough, it didn't turn it on when it asked me to remove it, which is weird. But as you see, now it will, and of course I still have my show music information. So now when I click out, that's what it looks like. And that still looks fire in my opinion. I actually don't mind that because it gives a little extra flair to your AOD and your lock screen. So that way when you actually open it, it just lights up like that. So shout out to Apple for really bringing that to the phones in general and for Android to quickly adopt that. I like that a lot. Now if we come back in here, you can do when to show, which is, I have mine on auto. And so auto, as you see, show all the time unless your phone detects that you're sleeping or that it's face down or in a dark place and hasn't moved for at least 5 minutes. The reason why I like that is because it's a way to save battery life. If it's in your pocket, your always on display will not be on. If it's real dark in a room, it will shut down. If you stop touching your phone, again, after about 5 minutes, it will shut off, meaning it doesn't really need to showcase anything for you. And so that's why I like the auto feature. Now you can also do tap to show where you just have to tap the screen once and it should illuminate your always on display. You can have it constantly on, which is fair. That's an option we used to only have. You could do a scheduled maintenance, scheduled time frame for your always on display to actually occur. Or for new notifications, the only time it really kicks on your always on display. So Samsung thankfully gives us those types of controls over our always on display to make sure that our phones are customized to our personal liking. And if you want to make sure it's pretty much up to date, you click on always on display or about always on display right there. And as that little cycle went, you see there's no updates for it. That is ours always on display. Now in terms of lock screen, they don't really give you too much in here for your lock screen. As you see, I use my PIN, I use face unlock and fingerprints for my lock screen in terms of security, but they really don't have too many other options in here for your lock screen. The only thing I do have in here which I like is a touch and hold to edit, meaning when I'm on my lock screen, I can press and hold and it will enter me into trying to edit it. And widgets. And so these are the widgets that I have in terms of my lock screen: music, weather, digital well-being, and voice recorder. I like voice recorder kind of being, accessible in that way, but I also don't really use those widgets as often. Now on a flip phone like the Flip 6 or like the Flip series, I definitely did use the lock screen widgets in that way. But now that we have those newer widgets, those are ones that I like to use. And so what I'm going to do is back out. We're going to go ahead and cut the phone down. We're going to double tap the illuminate. This is the press and hold function to enter editing. And so that's all I had to do in order to get to my lock screen. And this is what I can do here. You can change your wallpapers by pressing that wallpaper button up there. You can actually change your clock style. And as you see, there's many different types of clocks that you can choose from. And I'm using the 4th font, which gives me that kind of nice pop in terms of the font. And if we scroll down, as you see, show weather information. And that's what I have. So that way I don't have to have another widget for it. I can just have it displayed, which is a small little weather icon as well as the temperature outside. And I like that all bundled in that clock area. I like that a lot. And then of course, while I'm here, if I go ahead and swipe down, all I have to do is click in this box for the widgets. And now I can change my widgets, and I'm hoping Samsung brings more widgets, which they are with One UI 7. And then you can also change your bottom buttons here. I use a flashlight on the right. I do have the camera on the left. Not a big deal because I can actually double tap. So live on camera, I can actually change this to something like voice recorder. Maybe I'll do that instead. So now I have voice recorder. That's a little easier to be right there on the spot. So if ever I need to record something on the spot, I can actually now just swipe from that location down below. Now the wallpaper I'm currently using is generative AI based off of Galaxy AI. And so if I actually was to come into wallpapers, I can create with AI, and I created this generative AI right here. And as you see, it's right there. And I've actually had a couple that I've actually tried to use before, but the inspiration behind this waterfall one, which would be under terrain. So you would go to terrain and then you would change your 3 options. So in this case, it's on surreal, but what I did was I scrolled down till I found waterfall, And then once I clicked waterfall, I came up here and changed surreal to realistic. And then I changed from silver to tonal. I think I changed mine to tonal. And so when I did that, that's how I ended up getting some of these to actually pop up. And so sometimes, depending on the task, it could take a little bit. And then other times, it can actually be a little bit faster for Galaxy AI to generate some nice wallpapers. And as you see, they generated some really nice ones this time around that I actually kind of want to change to, because of course they would. And so I like that one a lot. That one looks really clean. And you see, they really do look ultra realistic. And I also like this one too. Just water gets a little fadey there, which also can happen. Maybe you can just look at that as like a long exposure shot. And that's how you get that real smooth look when it comes to water. So I do like the fact that it adds a little pop with the greenery in there. I also like the more subtle tones of this one. Really kind of matches what I have going on overall anyway. So if I go ahead and set that, which arguably doesn't look too different than what I have, I can do that. I can also, but as you see, it changes what I have going on in terms of my font, and I can't really see what I have going on. So if I back out, I'm back to what I have, and essentially that's what I have going on for now. Now, if I want, I could change that, but I'm also fine doing it like that because with my AOD, I can now see what's going on when it comes to my widgets. And so that's how you can change your lock screen. That's how you can have fun with your lock screen. That's how you can also play around with your always on display. Now, we're ready for the home screen, right? You guys saw it. Let's go ahead and swipe away. This is the home screen. This is the new home screen. Something that I found to be very, very nice, very minimal, but also still very informative. The reason why I did this is because I just wanted to do a whole complete change. I'm so used to having a bunch of apps on my home screen, apps that I really don't use all that often. And even the apps that I do use, I can still access them with the Samsung device anyway. That makes this type of aesthetic way more pleasing and way more of a go-to. And so for me, the least that I may do is just swap my main widget. And then if I swap that there, I'll swap this because I don't need a search widget right here. I'll swipe it and just put my player down there. So if I really want to just change my whole aesthetic, I could do it like that. And if I really needed the time, I'll just swipe down and look at the time on my phone like that. Or because I wear the Galaxy Watch, the time is right there on my wrist. So I don't have to be overly consumed with knowing every minute of the day. I could just keep myself preoccupied with simple, minimalistic, yet, what's the word I'm looking for? Focused look from my phone that keeps me busy, but also keeps me busy in a more, constructive way. More intentional way, if I will. And as you see, I got my phone app right there and my messages app, the two main apps that I would use otherwise. Now you may be wondering, well, sir, what are the widgets that you're using? Well, if I swipe up, and I think it's this far left one. No, those are my. Now that's the problem with this icon pack, is that not everything has icons, so it makes it a little bit harder. So that's not fun. But if I come in here, I can show you guys that I'm using Coda for Custom. Now, Coda for Custom, this is where you're gonna find all of these widgets that I like using, and they're in order here. But and pretty much what I'm going to show you guys in this while I'm right here is the widgets that I'm using both for my cover screen and the widgets that we'll get into shortly on my main screen. So and there's going to be some tweaks to a couple of these, but for the most part, this is what I'm using for my phone. And the first one right here is K14. I'm using just the actual Google search bar part of that widget. I deleted the 19 such and such and all that. I deleted all that and just kept that search bar. K14 will be on the main screen, so I just wanted to show you guys that there. And then I'm also using K24 is the one I just showed you on my cover screen. That's one of the ones I'm using on my cover screen. I'm also using K41 on my main screen, and so you guys are going to see that when we get to the main screen. I'm using K47 on my main screen. I'm using K63 on my cover screen, as you guys saw down at the bottom of my display. And I'm using K84 for that main widget that you see on my cover screen as well. I'm using K74 for that music widget right there on my cover screen as well, attached to my search bar widget that I just showed you. And so that is how I have my cover screen set up. Very minimalistic, but very approachable. And if I did need to access my apps that I need, this is where Samsung comes in handy to be able to utilize such a simplistic, minimalistic approach to my setup. The Edge panel. And the Edge panel is where I can access all of my apps. So I got my Google Maps, I got my Gmail, I got my wearable app, the calendar, YouTube and YouTube Studio, my Play Store, my Galaxy Store, my settings, my Files app, my Internet Explorer, my gallery, Samsung Health, Samsung Notes, Good Lock, JW Library app, Instagram, X/Twitter, TikTok, and Threads. So all the apps that I actually use that would be on my screen otherwise is right there available in my Edge panel, which allows me to keep my setup very clean, and it allows me to still access the climate if I needed it even more, fresher look into what the weather looks like for the day. I have my clipboard still active. I have this page still active that needs to be edited, and that's it that I have going on for my Edge panel. And if I needed access to any more apps, maybe I'm actually doing something so I'm not on my home page, but okay, come on. Then I can access more apps in this way, right there from the Edge panel. And then Smart Select, of course, and Sketch the Image up at the top. And so that's why I like this, because it allows me to be way more flexible when it comes to my aesthetic and what I need to get done. And then if I need to swipe over to access any information going on in the world, or in the world of Samsung specifically, as we're all excited for the Good Lock information. I actually dropped a video on the channel talking about this. So if you guys haven't checked the channel already, make sure you guys check the channel out for all the videos that I have, which includes more setup videos, more feature breakdowns, more update breakdowns, more reviews, and the constant look into the devices that I'm using. If you guys haven't already, subscribe and like this video. Now let's continue. Now this is just the home page, right? When I swipe over, I'm using Apple Music for my music player widget, and I'm using my not digital well-being, but my device care widget. So if I ever need to, clean anything out, which I really haven't needed to, then I do that. And as you see, I'm only using 145 gigs out of the 512. So even if I had a 256 gig phone, I would still be good on storage. And that's because I do a pretty good job of maintaining and kind of, staying on top of what needs to be on my phone. And then I'm also using the battery widget, letting me know how much battery is left both on my phone and my watch. And if I have my buds active, they'll display right there. And if I had a Galaxy ring, they would display right there. And so that is the setup for my cover screen. Now, here comes the fun part, and that is, ta-da, my main screen. And as you see, again, I like that lived-in experience with the wallpaper and being able to utilize that wallpaper appropriately for my setup. I use a lot of kind of see-through widgets, and again, I think that's the K47 widget I was talking about that I'm using. That's the K14 or K1819, where I'm just using the actual search bar widget portion of it. And then I'm using Samsung's clock widget right here. And if I want to, I can press and hold enter settings, and I can change what type of clock I'm using, which I'm always tempted to do, because I also really like having my clock like that. But the more minimalistic approach to the clock really looks clean. If I wanted to, I can go with that Tudor approach. Tudor, for those who like watches, you'll understand. So I can always go with that, with the little splash of red. I can add the actual clock there if I want to. I can even go a little bit more with that, with the hands having a little, a touch to them. If I wanted the full indices, I could do that. But this minimal clock here really kind of fits with my approach. I keep it on white because it's not a big deal to me, since even in dark mode, it's not a big deal. If I went dark mode, it would just look like that. So I just maintain like that for now. And if I wanted to, I could just match what I have going on. But you see my transparency is around 10%. I could raise it to 20, just to kind of fit everything else. And so if I hit save, now you see I got the clock there. You see I have my widget bar there. I have Samsung's calendar widget right here. And if I swipe, I also have my media player, my Apple Music media player there. And then over here, where to go. I have to find it because it went missing. Give me 1 second. I forgot I tweaked this. So if I swipe, I have my music player that I was talking about right here as well. And so now the problem with this music player is if you click this, it'll actually bring up, oh, okay, so that's not what I wanted. Let's see if I hit save. What's going to happen if I back out of it? So, okay, so it does actually make it a little bigger, which is cool with me. But if I, see if I do that, if I hit that arrow, it's just going to skip to the next song. So that's why I don't quite like that widget, but it looks very clean. So that's the reason why I'm using it. If I actually click the music, it will actually bring up the app, which is nice. And so at least I can have that control. The widget that I'm using on my cover screen, however, allows me to be able to play and pause, I believe. So if I hit play, let's see if I play it. Yep, it'll play it. If I hit it again, it'll pause it, and then I can skip back and forward with that widget. That's why I like that widget more than this widget, because of its function, whereas this is more of an aesthetically pleasing based widget there. And then the weather widget, there's only one there. I don't have it stacked with any other widgets. I have now this is where I do utilize apps, because I have the space and availability despite my widgets that I'm using. And so that's why I keep apps here. And so I have my full-fledged apps that I've already described in my edge panel here and in this area, with the addition of a folder, which includes all of my streaming apps right there. And of course, I keep that really, I believe this is system defaulted theme. So when it's light mode, it's light, and when it's dark. And then if I swipe, I just have my experimental or my previously used widgets right there, just in case I ever want to retweak and maybe return to a look. I can still do that. But I think I really like what I have going on here. And of course, my edge panel doesn't change. Now, while we're here talking about the edge panel, let's jump into Good Lock, because this is where the fun begins as well. And we're going to start with theme park, because this is where the fun begins for really a lot of it. So if I swipe down, again, I have to this won't stay the way I want it to, because those are supposed to be white up there and not red. I don't know what else to say. That would be here in Quick Panel. Now, as you see, I don't know why it has not changed, because it's still doing. You see, aspects of it looks like it's supposed to be working. If I click on it, see, it's supposed to be that. Now, maybe that's supposed to be like that at night, but if I want to edit this, maybe it'll let me edit. I want to change the white or the red to a different color, and it's as simple as just wanting to be the white colors. Let's see if I can find white in here real quick. And for the most part, I could. So now let's see if I can actually change some of this here. Actually, I really don't. I'm just going to leave it the way it looks. So let's say if I hit, see, the only thing I don't like is when I hit save, because when I hit save, I have to basically remake it. So you see, I've been through now 7 different editions of this. And so now I'm going to click this and apply it. And now it's finally what it's supposed to be, which is white. Now, the only thing I don't like, you can't see it on camera, you can see it in person. I wanted to change my icons to be like darker when it's not activated, but I think it may affect my icons when I don't have activated icons. So that's why I'm just going to leave it for now. But as you see, I've been through several different variations. This one I should be able to remove. So now that I'm done with that one, I can back out of that. And then really, if I wanted to, I could probably delete my Mark V version as well. I really just like to keep one in there. But as you guys can see, if you come in to edit, you can change your quick panel to be whatever you want. You can change the color of your brightness bar. You can change the background of the brightness bar, meaning it doesn't have to be gray. It could be a different color. It doesn't have to be gold. It could be a different color. You could change the actual color of your whole notification shade or your quick panel shade. You can change your notifications and what the color of the font is, what the color of the actual notification is. There's so much you can do with this app here, or with this app module for the quick panel, and I love it so much. Now, alternatively, let's see, before we move on, okay, it did skip over. We're going to get to that in a second. So if I press back, alternatively, if you're having trouble coming up with your own colors, you can come into Home Up, And then you can come in here to, I think it's still in home mode, or is it quick star? My bad. Come into quick star. So once I find quick star, if you click quick star and you're having problems with the quick panels, here's where you can also access it via theme park, but then you also have just a few pre-made customizations by Samsung that you can also just turn around and activate if you're struggling with creator's block, so to speak, right? So you could do that there with quick star. And also, while I'm in here talking about the quick panel, there's a reason why you don't see any visibility of indicator icons is because I turn a lot of them off. I like that clean, minimalistic look. I like it to almost look like what phones look like in movies, where there ain't nothing going on but the subject at hand or some dope kind of layout that they have for the phones, just to hide the fact that they're using, or try to hide the fact that they're using a Samsung device or an Apple device by having like some custom software. That's my approach to my setup. And so that's what I use for that. I have my clock hidden here via the clock settings. If I did have it showing, it would show seconds, which it does here in the notification panel, but not live. I have them hidden. So these are the type of changes that you can make with Good Lock on your device. And so you could change your, the quick button grid and the quick setting instant access as to how, now I might actually decrease this a little bit if it lets me. There we go. So that is allowing me to, depending on where I swipe down, is where it's gonna then give me everything. And so this works better when it comes to on the cover screen, but you could go straight half and half, or if I really just want the corner over here, maybe that's why I did that. If I swipe it like that, only a small portion of the side at the top will allow me to access the full quick settings. Otherwise, anywhere else in here, I could swipe down just for the quick settings and my notification panel. So you have that access here with Quick Star. Now, let's get into the icons. Now, going back in the theme park, this is where you're going to see the fun also when it comes to your icons. And with my icons, you see I have several different icon packs set up for this phone, but the one I'm using are the Ycons. And if you don't know what the Ycons are, I don't know why I did that. Let's actually stay in here. Let's swipe on over. So every now and then I forget where my notification panel is. And this is the part that's not fun as well. It's trying to see your notification panel against a white background. And so by looking off camera, I could go into the Play Store real quick. And I select up here, not that. Oh, that's right, it's down at the bottom. I double tap the search bar to bring up the search bar, and then I'll type in Ycons. And Ycons should pop up right there. And by seeing it, as you see right there, that's the I don't know why it's not in it, but I guess that's weird. Now, I don't know why it goes deactivated like that, but nonetheless, it's now active and it's updating, meaning maybe I'll get some additional icons pop in. We'll see. So if I open it, it's not a big deal. I don't need notifications for it, but hopefully they've added more icons for the pack. But that's the pack I'm using, as you guys can see in here in the icon pack. And when you're in here, you can even edit. And you see it's marked 1 because when you edit these, again, you always have to resave. That I hope Samsung changes with Good Lock going forward. If you edit one of your pre-made styles, you should be able to just override it and save it. You can actually come in here and actually change individual icons. And so if I click this up at the top and I click change icons, you can come in here and change any icon you want to. So sound assistant, you don't want that sound icon, you can click on it, choose from various different icons, and then change it. So let's say I want to stay in the icon pack, and it's so sad because it's white on white. It's crazy. But you can select all kinds of icons. You can look up the type of icons you actually hope that they have in their pack and then change it that way as well. And so the granular customization that you have when it comes to Good Lock, but then also to customize your phone and aspects of your phone the exact way you want to. I mean, it's undefeated. And that's the other thing I don't like about Good Lock is Good Lock does not like to just stay open when you're in theme park. It completely kicks you out. Now, the last thing I actually want to show you is Keys Cafe. Keys Cafe and really with the theme park with the keyboard, these are the two areas where you can really do some customization of your keyboard. So you can make your own keyboard. And so by coming in here, you see I have one already activated. So if I show you that one, this is how I have my keyboard set up. So I have my space bar bigger. I have this over here a little bit bigger. Now this is also, I think, for my main screen, but I have my emoji button right there. But you see, I don't have a comma button, and that's because I have my comma button attached with my N. And so when I press and hold on N, since I use my press and hold functions to access all my other, you know, options when it comes to texting and whatnot, I don't need to have that option down at the bottom. I keep the period because sometimes you use a period without double spacing, and so that's why I kept that. I still have my numbers icon up there, but I've rearranged a lot of my press and hold icons around, so that way it's a lot easier to access when I'm typing on my device. And so if I wanted to edit that, I'll just click edit, and this is where you get a host of all different types of stuff you can have as part of your keyboard. And all you gotta do is click on the key that you want to mess with. Let's say I want to mess with Q. Maybe I want to change Q from having the plus icon. Maybe I don't want to have the plus icon there, as in plus and minus or addition and subtraction. Maybe I don't want that there. So maybe I want to change that. I can hit the trash can button and add something else to my liking. Or maybe I want to change the sizing of the Q button, right? I can do that right there. And then of course you have several different options, right? You can actually have emojis as a press and hold option, right? You can have a straight up whole saying as a press and hold option. So Samsung is doing it big here. And that's why when people say that the Pixel software is better, that's just completely false in my opinion, because Google has not went this far yet when it comes to customization for your device. Granted, Samsung's Good Lock app is not fully integrated into the software, but they give you that functionality via an app, where Google hasn't quite done that yet. And so from a software perspective, that's why Samsung is leaps and bounds ahead of Android in general, because they think about the user, they think about customization, they think about making your phone personal to you. And you can do that with the likes of Keys Cafe and Good Lock. And the last aspect of the theme park, which I just mentioned for the keyboard, is coming in the keyboard and actually tweaking your keyboard. Now, this is where you can change your color of your keyboard. I had to think about it for a second. You can do the same thing here as you can do with your notification shade, changing all kinds of different aspects for light mode and dark mode, just as you can with your notification panel. And so that's what I have going on here. And if I actually back out and go back into Keys Cafe one more time, you saw the splash of color when I was texting or typing on my keyboard. That's because you can come in here and style your keyboard after making it. So you can actually also have preset colors if you wanted to for your keyboard, but then also you click effects down at the bottom, and this is where you can have fun. And so for me, I might even change it, because it's been a while since I've done this. I might change it. I'm looking at some ones that see if there's anything that I really like. So maybe if I change it over here, ooh, I like that. So I like that. And then the key color effect can, ooh, that might even, okay. How about this one? Okay, I like that one too. So just like that, I can change my keyboard or style it differently on the fly. And so when I press it, I like it going in, because it looks like I'm actually pressing it. So that's why I have that effect. I won't be changing that. And then of course you can change the sound if you wanted to, if you do use sound for your keyboard. And so those changes, I think, automatically save too. So after I did those changes, as you see, yeah, those changes save. And so what you can do to test your keyboard out is click the button up at the top and then see if you like what you brought to the table. And so to me, it still feels pretty good. It still looks really good. So I'm not mad at it. And so you just play around with your keyboard. If you don't like it, press the down button and then come back in here and do some more retweaking of your keyboard. That's what I like about Good Lock. That's what I like about Samsung. And the reason why no two Samsung devices are most likely going to look the same, and that is because of the amount and level of customization you have at your fingertips for your Samsung Galaxy device. And so hopefully you guys again appreciate this video. Let me know down in the comment section below. Do you guys use Good Lock? Do you guys customize your phone and use widgets to this extent? Or are you simple? Do you just do what Samsung does out of the box? I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comment section below. But again, as always, if you guys haven't already, make sure to ignite the like button, subscribe to the channel, notification bell. It's all free. That way you know it's my videos, so you and I can sit back, check, see what's cracking. And don't forget to hit that super thanks button down there by the like and dislike button. Cash App and PayPal. Check the channel out for all the videos available to you. That's way to keep tech fresh and alive on this channel. It's Micah signing out, and until the next video, wait for it.